to get rid of that 155,000, assuming that there's no money in contingency, and we will do that. And it does not affect the budget at all.
Okay, so just to kind of follow that, originally we had put 500,000 in contingency, and that 500,000 was at that point what the Mill Creek insurance settlement was anticipated to be. When we were given a subsequent number of 345,000, we then reduced that 500,000 to 345,000. There may be reason to believe that, just like last year, it will not materialize this year, in which case the 345,000 needs to be reduced to zero. And at that point, we do not have any money in our contingency fund because we did not identify general fund money to go in there. Whether it's acceptable to have a contingency fund of zero is debatable. And certainly in past years, it has gone very low. I mean, I think there was a year or so when it was down under 100,000, and you know, one gets by. That's not at all ideal because, as you saw before, ideally our contingency fund would be upwards of $1 million. So that's something else that you're right would need to be a parking lot issue, and so we need to look at that.
Supervisor.
To kind of solve this issue, and this is kind of going forward, and we've never had the discussion, but we're in the process of looking, and a proposal will be coming forward with the privatization of our transfer stations, the solid waste division. I think it would be fair and justified to assume that we could probably plug a $300,000 savings of our general fund in that line item and be safe there. I certainly believe that's more of a reality than our Mill Creek Dam settlement coming in this year. So that would cover your gap, basically. Yeah.
If I could comment to that, I think, and this is kind of projecting forward what I know about timeframes, is that it's very unlikely that you'd realize any savings in this fiscal year, even assuming that course of action you know, kept going forward or, you know, was successful. I think that for all sorts of reasons, the best that would happen would be it would be implemented with the new fiscal year. So that would be my budget sense. But again, it's board direction, so.
You mean you don't believe that would happen in this fiscal year?
No, I think the arrangements would be so complex that it would take that amount of time to set up the arrangements.
I totally disagree with that.
And you're welcome to.
Supervisor Delaware.
Thank you. Ms. Glassy, I had a list that I wrote out last night, some questions.
Okay.
Is there a response to those?
Oh, that one, yes.
That would be me. On the realignment, you were concerned with the, oh, I'm sorry, Meredith Ford, Auditor Controller.
Thank you.
The realignment issue, if you were looking at, on the Schedule 5, the 2007-2008 actuals and comparing that to the 2008-2009 budget, the difference is that the 2007-8 actuals were only through sometime in April. The last quarter payment hadn't been made. So while it looks like there's an increase of $2 million, that's not the fact. So
I was, and I'll have to go back and look, but I thought I was looking at the budget versus budget, not actuals.
No, that particular schedule shows actuals.
Okay.
Actuals for 7-8 and budgeted for 8-9. And with regard to public health nursing, the increase in state other there, that was 3 different grant programs that have been folded into that budget unit.
Okay. Okay, I see.
And actually, I'll add this on to the list just so I've got that on safekeeping. Okay. So
that helps because I was trying to follow the change in line items. There was not an easy chore. Thank you. Were those the only 2 that I thought there was a third one?
The third question was the Federal Welfare Administration, that number.
Is that the same because of the
it was budgeted in the wrong line item for 2008-2009, and I'll correct that in the final budget.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Is that it, Supervisor?
No, I have some more, but I don't know where you are on the process here.
Okay, I'd like to finish up with known parking lot situations, then move to HHSA for a brief description of what's going on there and the fiscal situation there. And then we can come back and start working through these pluses and minuses on the parking lot and try and wrap this thing up. So any board member have a concern with that type of a direction? Okay. So is there any other hanging fire for additional parking lot items at this immediate time? Okay.
So if I could just run down the list, and you can see if we've got the same things: the Resource Conservation District, the Juvenile Justice Delinquency Prevention Commission, EMS, the Questus expansion, the 3rd District travel, the Teeter interest payment, the contingency fund, and the other, should you want to look at that, is the sheriff's office and